it's our time. Generation fighters take the stand. From shore to shore we reclaim the land. Grit and glory in every strand. In Jersey Shore we make our stand. Yeah, I can come to stop the roof. Yeah, from the rooster. You know me, you're gonna die.
Welcome to the Jersey Shore podcast with host Damon Galdo on WVLT Cruisin 92.1. We'll take your calls at 856-696-0092.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Jersey Shore Radio Show. I'm your host, Damon Galdo, with my co-host, Peter Sykes here, and we got some infiltration here by some guests that are going to take over the show. So I'm going to skip my monologue, and I'm going to let this guy right here have at it. Go ahead, buddy.
It's a special monologue. Hey, everybody. My name is Damon Galdo Jr. And guess what? I'm turning 7 years old on the 4th of July. That's right. I share my birthday with America. A long, long time ago, way before Minecraft or ice cream, America was born in 1776. Our founding fathers signed a Declaration of Independence, which is a really big paper that says we get to be free. And because of that freedom, I get to be born here and go to school, ride my bike, eat pizza, and be on the radio show with my dad.
And Uncle Pete.
So happy birthday to me, and happy birthday to the USA. Let's light some fireworks and then eat some cake. God bless America, and let's make America great again.
All right.
All right, let's go.
So, good job, buddy. Hold on, what do you think, Pete? How do you do?
I think he did fantastic.
Gianna?
How old is he? 7?
He did it.
Well, tomorrow will be 7.
I mean, I don't know. You sure it's not 17? I mean, he's ready to rock and roll over here.
That's true.
Well, if he was 17 and missing a tooth like he is, I'm guessing I'd be a little worried.
Well, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's all right. Look, next time my girls are going to be itching to come on. So, this is...
I can't wait, man. We got to make that's the thing. We got to make it a little bit more family friendly.
Hey, look, and that's what I was about to say. Check out Jersey Shore Family Edition.
Yeah, that's where we're going with this, especially today. I had this conversation with Pete. I said, spend a lot of time doing things. Obviously I ran for office a couple times. The radio show, the podcast, all that stuff, and I did it for the future, of my children, everyone else's children. They're trying to make things better, you're a good future. And then it comes to a point where it's like, all right, I got to take a little bit of a step back, and just slow it down a little bit because I'm missing some time with them,
And
And then they said, can we come to the radio show with you today? I'm like, well, absolutely.
I wanted to come.
And they said, we're off. We don't have any school.
There you go. I mean, it makes sense to me. I'm down for it.
Well, guys, I love America a lot because I'm born on the 4th of July, and everyone else that loves America, thank you. Thank you.
Good job. So, John, I remember last time that you were in here. Remember when you took my seat over here?
Yes.
And you told everybody that you took my seat?
Yes.
And then after the show was over, all the views that we got, it was the thousands of views. It was the highest rated show that we ever did. And you were so proud and you were running around and saying, yeah, that's right. It was all about me. And then I used to bust, Uncle Pete's chops and be like, I don't know how you top Gianna. Well, Uncle Pete worked really hard. And then what was it, about, I don't know, a month ago, maybe 6 shows ago, something like that. He toppled you. And I told you. And now what?
Well, I brought a special person. I brought a special person here to help me get more views and to beat you. Uncle Pete, you're cooked.
I'm cooked. They're throwing haymakers over here, man. What are we doing?
Well, Pete, I figured, candidate for LD6, man, we're trying to get you elected. You got to get ready for a good debate.
Well, listen, let me go ahead and tell you, all right? So Gianna hit about 3, okay, and some change. We hit about 4, right? Just under 4. We're going to hit 7 this time.
Well, I'm sure she's going to push for it really hard.
Absolutely.
She's probably going to tell all of her friends in school, you better go in there and like it and watch it and everything else. I know how she is. She's a good work ethic. She doesn't like to lose. So...
But I have that killer
Oh, yeah, I
instinct.
get mad when I lose my lacrosse games. But I've never lost my lacrosse games. And that's it. Like, I only lost 2 of them in the whole season, so.
No, it's a good job, man. You had a great season.
Yeah.
So Pete, what we got going on tonight?
Well, they just passed Trump's big, beautiful bill.
Yeah. Actually called the big, beautiful bill. Trump has a way with words and how he labels stuff, and it's great. So And we talked about that on the Pulse podcast last night, and I kind of played devil's advocate with it, and because a bill that big there's never 100% everything good. You got to try to make everybody happy or it'll never pass.
Yeah.
And I brought up like Elon Musk, and I asked the other podcast, I said, what do you think about Musk's take on it? Because Trump is more pragmatic, and he's not running a company right now. He has to answer to the people. So he has to get this stuff passed, just to try to satisfy the people. They elected him for that reason. Now, Elon Musk is in a different seat. People work directly for him. So he can fire them whenever he wants, and he can expect greatness from his workers, and that's fine. But it's a whole different story, So I love Elon Musk. I love Doge, everything he's done for it, for the country, saving money and all that stuff. I just think, if Elon Musk was listening right now, which I know he's not, but if he was, I would just say, take a step back for a second and just look at, how Elon, if this was you and you don't own the government, you don't own the people, it's not a regular, company like that. When you have, how would you handle it that way? Like, I just would say, look at it in a different way.
Well, that's the problem, right? Is that you have to get everybody on board with what it is you're trying to do, or at least, secure their votes, and with Elon being the head of the company, you really don't have to do that. What you say goes, right? You see the judges, I believe that was part of their, in the big, beautiful bill as well, that, or the Supreme Court just ruled on that, right?
Yeah, we had
judicial judges have to take a step back. They can't, go ahead and continue to put up all those injunctions.
Yeah, the national injunctions that they were trying to do. So that Trump got 3 big wins with that too.
Yeah,
3 big wins. It was one thing I'm not going to bring up with the kids. So
fine.
And the other one, the third one. Well, I don't think the other 2 even need to be brought up in front of the kids anyway. But
that's fair.
But the injunctions, yes, that one won. And then here, you look at KBJ, Ketanji Brown Jackson, who doesn't know what a woman is, and I never seen Tony Barrett kind of went after her. I never seen two justices talk. Yeah, and she just said she shouldn't be here. And she called her out for everything she said, and I was like, yes, finally.
Unfortunately, that was a DEI hire.
Well,
you know what I mean? There's nothing else you can really say about that one.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. What, buddy?
So, everyone, I love America a lot. This is our American flag. I love it. Everyone knows.
All right, they know now, buddy. They know now. So tonight we're going to Cherry Hill. Was it Cherry Hill West High School?
Yep, fireworks. We're going to fireworks. We're going to be passing out some pamphlets and stuff. Maybe we'll get to see you down there. Don't be afraid to come up and shake some hands and introduce yourself if you like. You know, we're going to have a gang of kids out there and doing all our dirty work because that's how we get down. And, you know, I'll tell you, man, I had, we went to the concert in Cherry, Voorhees last week. And, you know, I was there, Nate was there and Jack, and we had all the kids out there handing out the flyers on the way out. They loved it.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to get them involved. We teach them young that, like, you know, your voice matters, you know, and you can make change. You know, it gives them the confidence to do that. It gives them confidence to do anything when they get older, like get a job or, you know, and just.
Well, confidence is important, you know, and that's one of the things that we're not instilling in our kids nowadays is, you know, look, I mean, ever since our generation, right? I mean, parents been doing everything for a lot of the people out here, you know, and, you know, you're seeing a lot of failure to launch with a lot of, you know, our people slightly younger than us and even people our generation as well. You know, so I mean, if we had more responsibility, if we had that instilled in us as children on how to do more things, you know, and had more confidence, I'm sure that you would see, you know, a decrease in that number.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. And yeah, it's the work ethic, you know, that it is. And there's a lot of reasons why it doesn't happen, you know, but you have to do your job as a parent and teach your kids because they're not going to learn without it. That's why it's very important to have, you know, 2-parent households and all that. And when you look at the Democrats and the liberals out there, they don't even want to have kids, so they don't have any responsibility other than themselves, and they're the ones that really don't. Oh, buddy, you're crushing me with your little tiny butt.
Well,
you know, I remember that when you said that you took Gianna and Damon out to hand out the meals, right? You guys enjoyed doing that, going and handing out the meals to all the.
Yeah, you want to tell everyone about that?
Yeah, so we do that pretty much every holiday that there is. And what we do is we go to the place, we get the food, and then we go to deliver the meals. And like everybody that we deliver the meals to are like really grateful for it because some of them might not have family that visit them or anything. So us giving them meals and visiting, like practically visiting them, it makes them happy on Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving. It makes them happy for people who are lonely.
That's right. You know, so you guys like to get involved and do things, right?
Yeah.
that's all.
Yes.
Okay.
So, if anyone wants to know what this thing is on my head, it's something from a birthday party. So, when I was at my friend's birthday party, someone threw a water gun at my head.
Don't name any names. It was an accident. So
Yes, I know. I'm not going to name any names.
that's why he had to get that out. Somebody tried to throw a water gun to him, and he wasn't
He
looking.
caught it. It was it.
Yeah, go to his head.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of injuries on heads, you might not be able to notice, but when we were in South Carolina, he was swimming in the pool and he was like gonna go on the floor and he was blowing out air and he was laying on the floor swimming. And I was stepping on his back, chasing him. And under the water, when he was about to get up, he scraped his head on the side of the pool. And now he has something.
Oh, see, and that's funny because he told me that happened at the beach.
well, no, we were coming back from the beach, and then it happened in the pool. Yeah. So, but yeah, I thought I was saying I was trying to teach him how to ride waves, and then yeah, it did actually happen in the pool itself.
I love riding waves, man. I'd say that was when I was down in Florida in the Gulf. That was the big problem is there's no waves down there.
That is not good for me because I always get water in my mouth. But one time when I was at the beach,
Brain farts.
when I was surfing, I got flipped. When I was boogie boarding, I got flipped under water, then I came back up.
Oh yeah, that kind of happened to me. So I was with him in the ocean with my dad, and we were like riding the waves, and my goggles were off because I was wearing my goggles, and I was like trying to clean them off, and then I was gonna put them on. And a wave was coming, and he said, "Let's ride this one." And it was gonna hit me either way and get in my eyes. And we were like deeper in the ocean, so it's not like we were closer, and then I just put them on, and then I swam under, and then I did a backflip. Goggles came off, and I got water all in my nose, and I was crying after.
I bet. You know, those waves are unrelenting.
Yes, they are. So, guys, what do you guys think about Uncle Pete running for assembly and with Jack Brannigan? You guys know Jack too. You think it's a good thing? They're going to do a great job.
Yep.
Yes.
And how do they do it? I'm just curious. I know I didn't prep you for this, so I'm curious what's going to come out of your mouth. So how do they do it? Come on.
Well, like, how do you, like...
How's he going to do a good job?
Well, first he's gonna like get like flyers or something, and he can door knock and get people to vote for him. Cause you've done stuff, but that was for Congress. That's different. But door,
Concept.
Yeah, same.
but it's a little bit different. So you have to door knock, and you have to give out like flyers, put like door knockers on the handles, and talk to people. It's a lot of work, but when you work hard, it always pays off to something good. So
listen to that message.
I like that one. Like I said, I didn't prep at all. I was curious how it was going to come out. But yeah, and well, Johnny, you're a smart girl. All straight A's. Made the principals.
I went and made it to principal's lists for all 4 marking periods, and for 6th grade, I am in advanced math.
There you go. You know, so my girls, right? I had this meeting a couple months back, right before the end of school, and they just said they're going to change the way that they do the report cards, and they're not going to do A's through F's anymore. And now it's going to be satisfactories or unsatisfactories or needs improvement, you know, whatever. And they're going to go ahead and do that up until, I don't know, 5th grade or 8th grade or something like that. So my daughter Mackenzie goes ahead and says, "Well, Daddy, does that mean I can't make the principal's list anymore?"
Does it?
I have no idea. I said, ask your teacher, because they clearly know more about it than I do. But, you know, I mean, this right here is the things you got to think about, you know, and she knows the importance of making that list. Why else would you strive or work hard if you weren't going to get any recognition for it?
Yes, based on merit. We're not, that's the thing, but we're not giving out participation awards. You know.
Well, clearly that's what they're moving towards.
Mine is just like numbers and percentages. All right.
Now, Gianna, I'll tell you what, do they teach you cursive over in your school?
They did when I was in 2nd grade, but they don't really do it as much anymore. But I still know how to write in cursive.
Okay.
Guys,
Damon, what about you?
So I got kid to kid 4 times in my life.
4 times, yeah.
I got bucket filler 2 times in my life.
Because he helps out a lot. He does a lot. You know, he's a character kid, and that's what he got. And bucket filler because he's doing the work in the school. He's, you know, so he's done a great job, and he knows what it is to help out this teacher. The teacher's very proud of him. He's not as advanced as John in math, and I'm sure he'll get there. But I don't know, John. I don't know where'd you get the brain from? I can't take all the credit.
And well, because I have good teachers and they're smart. Because you help me with my homework and my work. And sometimes Mom, even though she's not that good at math.
Man, I was throwing you a bone there to go with Mom, you know, and then then you finally got to her, and then you hit her with she's nothing.
Oh, yeah.
That's good, but she's still.
Well, no, she did other stuff too. We're just playing around. We're having fun.
It's funny, you know, Nora will go ahead and say she's not good at math, but I'll tell you what, man, simple math, she comes up with them answers real fast. I try to tell her, baby, you got it. I don't know what you mean. I'm over here counting fingers and toes.
Yeah. Well, I will say, my wife is very good at math. She knows how to make like $100 go to zero very easily.
Yeah, she's good at math. It's so mine. That's like.
You listen to her right now. I'm in trouble, you know.
That's right. Listen,
Mom, you have the permission to yell at Dad.
At least Gianna knows. She's like, yeah, that's my problem too.
Yeah.
What?
I know, low overhead, bud. It's all right. So, but yeah, I just want to reiterate too, man. Everyone come out tonight for the fireworks. It's Cherry Hill West High School, right? In Cherry Hill West. in school. They got awesome fireworks tonight. It says that it's going to start at like 7:30, but I'm sure the fireworks aren't going to start until it gets dark. But I'm hearing there's going to be a lot of people there. You'll see, Pete out there with Jack Brangan.
I will not be wearing a suit. I'm sorry. I it's just gonna be too hot for that.
Yeah, sometimes you got to give up the suit, man. I remember when you first started this, you're like, he's like, the suit stuff. He's like, it's too hot. I'm not going. And then he got a couple suits. He went and bought like 5 of them. I'm like, who's going
I bought
crazy?
3 and a jacket. Now I got the matching set coming. So I got 4. I got 4 suits coming.
Yeah, now I run into him like anywhere and he's wearing a suit. I'm like, where are you going? He's like, no, I'm wearing my suit. I'm like, all right, you're playing the part now.
That's it. We were out the other night. What's up? I'm sitting out there in a suit. Like, yeah, it's nice out tonight. Suit went on. Listen, dress for the job that you want, buddy. Right? That's how it goes.
Absolutely. But yeah. So another thing, we'll talk about the other candidates like Constance and Milsa, that are running too. Great candidates, and there's some fundraisers coming up. You have Blake Shibashevsky. He's got one coming up. I believe it's on.
I'm glad you said his last name. Say it one more time.
He said to me when he was on the podcast, and I said his name. He's like, "You're the first person that's got my name right." And I said, "Listen, don't ever ask me how to spell it.
He's got too many vowels.
I couldn't even start." I said, "You know what?
Sorry, too many consonants."
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I said, one thing I'll never be able to say. I said, it doesn't matter if someone had a gun to my mom's head and said, spell Shibashevsky right now, or she's going. I'm like, Mom, I love you. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know how. I'll never be able to do it.
Everybody pronounces our last name wrong. They either say, they always say Galdo, and then I don't like to correct them because I don't want to be rude. But once I'm in 6th grade and they say my name, when they call my name, I'm gonna say
For the president's list?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Galdo.
There you go. You gotta let them know.
At least,
I get skies all the time.
at least my parents.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Hello, Mr. Skies. Yeah, close enough.
Well, even the intro to this, that was AI that did that. It says Galdo.
What?
Yeah,
It
it
does
says
do
I heard it a million times, too.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, it does say Galdo.
I hate when that happens.
I always get Damien all the time when I was growing up. It got to a point where I just stopped correcting people.
Yeah, because some people actually do call me Damien.
Damien.
You look like a Damien.
I am a Damon, not a Damien.
Back of his head.
Oh my gosh.
I forgot. I just lost my train of thought with that. You messed me up, Pete.
Oh, you're talking about Shibashevsky.
Oh yeah, Blake. Yeah, he has a fundraiser coming up. I believe it's on the 24th, but you can go on Facebook and see it. As another person that's running. I know you and Jack are working on some fundraisers. It's about to drop pretty soon.
Yeah, we got one scheduled right now for September. It's a little ways away. We're gonna see what else we can put together here.
So, all right, well,
We'll make that announcement when we get a little bit closer, and anything else we'll make sure to put it out there.
yeah. Well, I mean, I've been talking with Jack Chidarelli, and the one thing I'll tell you this that I really like about Jack, because I've openly said I voted for Bill Spady.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew Bill more on a personal level. He came to my house for a rally for other candidates and stuff like that. I knew Jack, but not like I knew Bill. And I had a conversation with Jack, and we had a great one. And he knows I voted for Bill, but he knows that that's how it works. He's like, it's a primary. You're supposed to be able to vote who you want. It's after that.
You got to get behind whoever's there.
Yeah, and he knows that I can't have any credit to say that he must have heard me say that before, because it's simple. I mean, that's what it should be. But there are some people out there that don't believe that. I mean, there's the in front of you. You've seen it in your county. I've seen it in my county.
Oh my God!
And they try to use it. And they're like, oh, well, you're not a Republican. You voted. I'm like, it's a primary.
Let's go on a macro level, right? Because that's the micro level, the county level.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what they're saying about moderating. You know what I mean? With the bombing of Iran, right? With the big beautiful bill is what? There's 60-40. I mean, there's splits, but we're still behind Trump. I mean, what was the alternative? Kamala Harris.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I wouldn't even call it an alternative. I've been like death.
So it's like, no, look, when it comes, you got to support the guy that's there. That's, look, they say the lesser of two evils,
Yeah, well, I wouldn't even think Jack was the lesser of two evils.
I agree.
No, Jack's a good. Jack's a really good guy, and he's capable.
Yeah.
and very capable. Bill came in, and I knew him on one more personal level. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, you had like I know you on a more personal level.
Agreed.
So it's like that. So that's what it was. It was intentional. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
He's like, you do what you did. He's like, I'm very happy you're trying to get me elected. I'm like, you have to win, Jack. We did not have Mikey Show. We got to do whatever it takes.
And that's my point exactly, right? So I say lesser of two evils. That's not necessarily because I don't think that Trump is that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think Jack is that. But look, the alternative was destruction. Like, where are you gonna go?
Yeah, Mikey Sherrill comes in, I'm going to be looking for a U-Haul.
Right. That's agreed. And that's what I said is, look, we have to focus on getting Jack elected, and we have to focus on switching the assembly up. Right. I mean, it's not just the top, just because if Jack was to get elected, I mean, we're already down in assembly.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, 80 assemblymen, you have to have over 40 to have any kind of chance to do anything.
No, that's absolutely right. And
so I mean, these are the things that we have to try to accomplish.
Yeah, and Jack obviously knows that. He's not stupid. He knows he's going to need assembly to get his agenda through and all that. And
I'm waiting for you to make the introduction.
I'm going to.
All right.
I'm going to. No, he's a great guy, man. He really is. When I call, it's a funny story, and then Jack confessed to it. He called me because I was trying to get in touch with him. I'm like, hey, listen, I want to do everything I can to get you elected, man. I said, you tell me how I can help. And I just got back from vacation, and we have ducks. And buddy, we're not getting into the duck stories right now because I know you'll go on and on about it. He wanted ducks. So I have 2 Peking ducks because he wanted ducks. And okay, so there's the story. So I need someone to babysit them. So I took them down to my brother's house. And Jack called me as I was picking up the ducks. So they're in the back seat. And I was like, Jack, I don't even know how to start this conversation. I said, if you hear quacking in the background, I said, I literally have ducks in my back seat. And he's like, I didn't know we were going to go down that route first thing. I'm like, I just had to let you know. And so you didn't think nothing crazy was going on.
Yeah. I mean, how do you definitely go about saying that?
Like hearing like
it hit me. I'm like, what do I do? I'm like, I just got to be honest. Like, I literally have ducks in the back.
You might hear some quacking. Like, what?
I thought I was like, he's going to think I'm crazy and hang up the phone. But no, he was laughing about it. He's like, all right, you're honest. You got ducks. He's like, you really have ducks in your back? I'm like, yeah, I actually do. So,
They were actually quiet when we were driving them down there. Were they loud when you were like driving them back?
yeah, I just put them in the car and didn't settle down yet. So they were quacking, and you guys weren't there when I picked them up. So it was different.
Feathers everywhere, duck poop in the back seat.
While they were in, the feathers were crazy.
You're okay.
All right, that's not
We
good.
don't have to say that on the radio.
Yeah,
Just pretend that never happened.
yeah.
It smells bad.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
So, but yeah, no, it was funny, and it just goes to show you that everybody is human. And Jack's like he's a regular guy that works really hard to make change. But
Well, good. Then I definitely can't wait to meet him.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
and it works really hard to make change, and he's very successful. But at the same time, I could tell my ducks in my back seat, and he just starts laughing. He's like,
What else are you doing?
He's like, you really do have ducks? And I'm like, yeah. So, but I'm looking forward to working with him, and I hope I can help him get elected. And because just like I hope you guys get elected, that's the whole goal, is to flip New Jersey red.
Yeah. Yeah, with good people, right? I mean, we have to get good people in there, right? Not the followers or whatever. We need good people that have good ideas that just want to make change.
Yeah. And
That's how it's born.
I want to give a shout out to too. I heard him give a speech for the state committee. Ron Pinchik.
Okay.
He was.
He wasn't allowed at this meeting, so go ahead.
Yeah, because this has been Gloucester, and because I'm on the committee, I'm always on the committee now, and I ran for state committee, didn't expect to win, but I just wanted a big turnout. But when I heard Ron give the speech, it was good, and I had to tell him that it was great because he didn't win, Tom won, and it's fine, that's what it's about how the vote went. But when I saw him afterwards, it just seemed like almost like let down. I'm like, dude, you gave a great speech, man. I said, keep up the fight. I just want to give him a shout out, because I've lost,
Yeah.
So you just got to keep going, and it's great.
Well, look, we will find a position for good people. That's what it comes down to. So it might not have been this one. That's okay. We'll find someplace.
Well, that's what I try to tell people all the time. It's like, just don't give up the fight, and just don't be mad about it and don't try to say, okay, well, I'm just going to trash the other person. No, you got
to be better than that.
Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment: never attack your own party. And that's how the Democrats, they always, well, I'm not saying always win, but that's how they win, is because they'll stay together whether they know they're wrong or it doesn't matter. They'll sell out completely and stick together. The Republicans don't have to sell out. We can disagree, but then when it comes time to get behind, the person that won the primary, that's when you got to do your job. You can't just say, I'm not going to vote for that person, or I'm not going to come out to vote. No,
that's why we don't win.
Exactly.
That's why we don't win. Oh, I can't vote for this guy. He wasn't my guy. I can't vote for him. Okay, well, thank you for helping us lose again.
Yeah, in November, we had roughly 20% of registered Republicans came out to vote. 20%. Imagine we had 30%.
See,
and everyone,
we would have won for Trump.
Yeah, and everyone says, "Oh, Trump only lost by 5 points." Well, imagine how much you would have won the state by.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, luckily he didn't need New Jersey to become president, but
regardless, because we need him now.
Yeah,
we need him now. Calling all Republicans, calling all independents who want to see change, who are tired of not being able to afford to live in New Jersey. You want to change things. We need your vote. We need you to come out and vote. Do a mail-in ballot.
Yeah,
look, you don't even have to show up on election day. Just do a mail-in ballot 3 weeks beforehand.
Yeah.
It comes right to your house. You fill it out. You click on who you want to vote for. You put it back in the mailbox, and that's it. It's done. And as Republicans, we don't like mail-in ballots. But guess what? If we want to beat the Democrats, we need mail-in ballots.
Because I see that in the beginning when they first came out, because it was easy to cheat, and nobody trusted it, because you want to be there in that booth, cast your vote, and you're confident, like, okay, my vote went through. And Republicans, they want to do it traditional, because Republicans are like grassroots conservative. They're more traditionalists. They still have.
If we did that, Democrats would not have 50,000 votes in LD sits alone, coming out to the ballots. I know they win.
Yeah.
But we'd also have, we had 15,000, right? But that's a big jump. Yeah. So if we want to win this time, man, look, we have to adopt this strategy in order to change it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just simple. You have to adjust the one. It's it's 4th and 26. You're not going to run the ball. You got to pass it. And that's,
I'll tell you what, you might sneak it on them.
Oh yeah, man.
They're all ready for a pass and deep prevent. Next thing you know, you run it, hit some laterals. I mean, who knows?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, that is a great point with the mail-in ballots, and we can't push that enough with the mail-in ballots.
That has to be our messaging adopted across the board going into this election. We need everybody to sign up for mail-in ballots, fill them out, put them in the mailbox. This election day, it was raining out. I mean, I shot a little video, threw it on Facebook, but it's raining out. Nobody wants to go out to the polls like that. Yeah, I was a challenger, so me and Jack, we hit a bunch of different, polling stations all through LD6. But at that point in time, it's raining. Nobody wants to come out. You're at work. Your life is happening. Just fill in the mail-in ballot, send it in 3 weeks ahead of time, and you're done.
Yeah, and think about it too. When in November, when the polls opened for Trump, you saw it across the board. There was lines that were so long, but thank God people just saw that
It happened here.
Yeah. But people knew that we had to get Trump elected, and they endured the whole time and waited in those lines. And then they even had police would come up and say, "Hey, you got to take your red hat off." I remember seeing that video. The guy was in line with a red. It didn't even say MAGA or anything like that. And even if it said MAGA, I think it did say MAGA, but it didn't say Trump. So
you're not allowed to do any kind of politicking in front within 100 feet of the polling station.
Yeah, no, that is the rule. But you can't say you can't.
It's the same thing walking in with a slogan, with a Vote Jack and Pete shirt. It really doesn't matter. You can't do it.
You can't have that, and that is correct. But no, I believe this guy just had a red hat on. I really do. It was in PA. I'll have to look it up and be Jersey Shore next time we talk about it. But no, I remember it was silly. The guy's like, it doesn't say anything. It doesn't say anything tied to Republican Trump. It's in red. And he said, no, you got to take it off or you can't vote. And then, I knew people personally that waited till election day. I voted early when the polls opened, but I'm not opposed to mail-in ballots. Because you never know what's going to happen. If you get stuck in the lines or the voting machine breaks down, they try that everywhere.
They try using 19-inch paper on 20-inch readers, and they don't match up correctly. Yeah, we saw that before. Where was that, Arizona?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. I mean, it's not just that, I know if you want to cast your vote, but think about it. Your time is valuable, and when don't put yourself through it, because you never know what happens. I think that, there are watchers and stuff like that that'll make sure that your vote gets in and count will stay open later if there's a problem. But do you really want to go through all that? I mean, but how many people in the end, like, I can't go. I got to go pick up my kids from school.
Yep.
Or I have to go to work.
Life happens.
I didn't.
What if on your way there, a tire blows?
Exactly. So Mound Bell
Or two of your tires after you go to the car wash.
Man.
Oh, sorry.
You really want to give me chugs? I want to tell this story.
So sorry. Oh, we told it the other day. You don't got to tell her. It's all right. If they listen to the show, they knew it. It's all right. It's all right.
I love you, baby. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. She's like, oh, you really coming at 3? Because
I know I'm going to hear about it too tomorrow. I'm going to see her tomorrow. She's going to let me know.
It got brought up on the podcast last night because we were talking about Ketanji Brown Jackson, and and she said she doesn't know what a woman is, and we were going in that whole thing, and they said, well, how do you know your wife's a woman? And I said, well, I said, you know what I mean. I'm not saying. And I said, because I know. I said, but one thing I don't know is what goes on in her head. I said, you can't understand.
Do you know how
anything? I said, their brains fire off in like 75 cylinders at the same time. I said, men are very simple. We're simple creatures. We know what we got to do. I said, but women, they think about 75 things at one time, and then you don't understand what direction they're going. And Arlene, who I love to death, I call her mother of my campaign. She was watching, and I see the message come through. She's like, Heather's going to kill you. I'm like, oh, now she's going to call Heather and make sure she's.
Do you know how I know she's a woman? Because I'm looking at 2 beautiful children over here. That's how I know.
Yeah. Women are the ones that can have babies.
There you go.
So there's no birthing person. It's a woman. There's no just.
What disrespect?
It is. That's exactly what it is, right, Pete? It is disrespect because women do deserve a lot of respect.
Guys, you love your mom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's a good one.
Yes.
What do you think, Damon? Best mom ever?
The best mom I can ever have.
Oh, there you go.
That's right.
I like it.
But the good thing is, buddy, is you couldn't have messed that one up.
Yeah.
But he loves his mama.
That's it.
He said, "Mama's boy."
That's right. You're daddy's girl, right? Yeah, I already know. I got 2 of them at home.
Oh, it looks like we have a caller. Hey, caller, you're live on the air. What's your name and where are you from?
Damon, you're in trouble.
I can't hear him.
Yeah, hey,
I've been hearing the bashing of me, for the past 35 minutes.
I didn't know Pete prompted it. So blame him. You're going to see him later.
Heather, sorry. Look, but it's for entertaining radio,
My favorite Damon's friends. So I'm just calling in though, just because, first wish my son a happy birthday, and that Damon, 7 years ago, you were hard to get out. And you put me in a lot of pain in all those hours of labor.
He just got the headset on. One more time. What'd you say?
Oh, I said, well, after 7 years ago, I said, Damon, I said I was a lot of pain, a lot of labor pain. So it's a long time for him to come out. So I love you, buddy.
Okay,
Mom.
I love you too, Gianna. I didn't forget about you. And now I'm not good at math.
Mom.
So I used to be, but not anymore.
That's all right. 2 + 2 still equals 4, no matter how you slice it.
It still does, yes. I still know I'm good with numbers, like pushing Damon's PIN number in when I use his card.
I told you I wasn't lying. I don't lie.
She gets some part of the joke too. You see how
That's the math you're good at.
It's the same thing. Well, that's why I always say facts, don't really care about your feelings. The fact. I don't lie, so that's the truth. The one time I said, I got to get my card. I had to punch in. She said, your card number. She knew every single number on the card, the expiration date, and the 3 on the back. I'm like, how do you memorize that? I'm like, yeah, that number she's good at.
Listen, I have seen women memorize card numbers. I don't know how that happens. I mean,
It's a disease, Pete.
I'm lucky to remember my phone number, my social anymore. We used to remember phone numbers before cell phones.
Yeah, you're right.
But card numbers? Are you kidding me?
I struggle knowing my wife's number, but the contacts. I mean, she got a new one not that long years ago, but I still know her old number. But you're so used to the contacts being in your phone. And then when I'm at a store or something like that, and I know she like a CVS, when you have like an account with them, they're like, I know she has it, and then when I punch in their number, I'm like, what is this? Okay, it takes me a second, to actually remember it. So
Yeah. So, well, I just say you have to get Pete and Jack elected. People have to go out and vote for Jack in November. We just got to get Republicans in so we can get rid of all these lousy Democrats that we have in this area, because we really do. They're not doing anything but just taking a seat for 30-some years. I mean, Pete, the Democrats that you're running against, they've been in that seat for what, like 30-some years?
Lou Greenwald, 29 years.
What? I mean, it's ridiculous. And you know what the problem is that people aren't paying attention, to he's on the ballot, and they're not really paying attention to what's going on, in their local.
They just vote down party lines. That's all it is they vote down party lines. We're going in, we're voting blue no matter who. And, they don't care. And when you talk to them about it and you say, hey, did you guys know that Lou Greenwald has been in office for 29 years here? They say 29 years? That's way too long.
But,
It is.
But they still vote for him.
yeah, and know what? I would say that it's not just not all the time people don't care. It's just they're not informed. And that's why we're here doing this to inform people. They need for you to tell people 29 years. They're like, hold on a second, 29 years.
29.
How's he still alive?
What has he done? What has happened? Has Camden County gotten any better in the past 29 years?
It's not got worse, probably.
Well, I think everything's gotten worse, but that's fair.
They still, and even I'm on Facebook and I go on, and I'm on Instagram or TikTok, and there's people that have videos of Camden and, complain about how bad Camden is. And, I would answer them and say, look, your Congressman Donald Norcross, he doesn't do anything. And so many people love the comment I made. They're like, we can't stand Norcross. And that's a misconception too with Camden. People think, oh, the people of Camden, Donald makes it seem like everybody loves him, that they don't. Sebastian, you talked to those residents that Damon has before. They don't like Donald Norcross. They know he doesn't do anything for the city of Camden.
Well, he
holds the city of Camden.
Right. From the best of my understanding is he stops progression from taking place in Camden and he actively holds it back.
He absolutely does. He absolutely does. And it's a shame.
I call him Fredo. So,
Donnie boy. What's he doing? It's terrible, but I'll let you guys go. I don't want to take too much time.
That's all right,
Bye, Mom.
Bye. See you later.
Bye.
Can't wait to see you tomorrow. All right.
So, all right, we got a little bit of time left here. So,
Actively holds it back, right, Dave? Am I mistaken?
what's that?
Norcross and Camden.
Oh yeah, of course.
I mean, I know that nobody knows better than you. You did all the research.
Oh yeah, and think about it. And it is painful to do so, but I listen and watch every congressional hearing just to find the information, the clips, and some of it it's not bad.
And to kill some brain cells.
Yeah, some can be entertaining, here and there, like a little debate in there and stuff like that. But for the most part, they're like 7 hours long, and I just want to ride home from work or at my lunch break, I just try to get all the information I possibly can. And you never hear a peep from Donald Norcross being there, never casting a vote, never pushing any legislation. But he'll throw some stuff out on Facebook, but he's never really there. He doesn't get anything done. And I really believe, I truly believe, and he knows to stay under the radar, because stay under the radar and just make sure he has the money to get. Exactly. And that's what I think, because I think.
And vote down party lines.
Yeah, I think Georgie Boy's older brother says, Donnie, Fredo, don't say anything, don't mess this up for us, and that's what it is. And I'm sorry, and I'm okay with calling him out. I never heard anybody else call him out like that, and I'm gonna call me a Norcross plant. I'm like, what are you kidding me? Don't sign. I said it just how it is. I'm like, Norcross plant. I'm like, the guy wouldn't even take my question. I went to his town hall meeting. I'm like, I want to answer your question. And he knew who I was. He wouldn't even call me, but
maybe he just got one of them faces.
Maybe. No, he knew it was. They pointed me out. It was somebody I was working with pointed me out, but it was funny. I'm not going to get into the story, babe. You're the horrible fun. I'm not going to go down that. We'll save that one for later.
If we only had someone that could shoot a proper video, it's all right.
Guys, I was about to spit out my Mountain Dew.
And you better not do that. You gotta clean it up.
Yeah, because no, I was about to.
Because you were laughing.
Yeah, but
Makes sense.
So, buddy, I forgot. You didn't thank Mimi for what she get you for your birthday. And
a new bike.
A new bike.
Nice black bike.
yeah, beautiful. Like, nice.
Now, does it still have training wheels on it?
Yes.
All right. Are we working on that? You know, my little girl just learned the other day, a couple weeks ago, how to get off them training wheels.
Oh.
Well,
Oh.
yeah, you know.
Yeah. You know, we're competitive around here. You're gonna have to keep up.
He's getting there. I've been on him for a long time. Like, okay.
You finally
Keep
learned
around
how to swim.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not in the deep end, the shallow end, but you still know,
There you
like,
go.
learn how to swim
Underwater.
underwater. Yeah.
So I have to learn how to do it above water.
Okay, so you got one up on my little girl there. She's been trying though.
Yeah. So I've been trying to. I can't take them off. I'm like, I'm right here, buddy. And then I'm like telling Sean, I'm like, put your feet down. You stand. He's like, oh, I can stand. I said, well, just try it out. You know. And he's, oh, dude, that was excuse you. Come on, man. That was rude.
Hey, I have to do it.
That's
Oh,
my
yeah, I
kid's
like
drink
that.
building.
Does that smell like a quack?
No, guys, I'm sorry. I had to.
All right, buddy.
Somebody got the frog in here. What's going on?
I'm not a frog.
So, anyway, so guys,
What?
how are we going to get the most likes on the show? How you going to take your crown back, John?
Because
Well, both of our crowns.
Well, you're here to help out.
you're just
Yeah.
getting me my crown back.
No, I'm
You're helping me to get my crown back.
gonna get a crown also.
But since I'm here for this one, not just calling in, does that mean that I share the crown? Is this how this works? If we get the crown nowadays?
yeah.
Oh, you
No,
should,
that-
yeah, look, I'm getting right
Now
now.
that's a debate right
She's
there.
shooting daggers at me.
Now that's a debate. You guys got to figure that out. If this is the highest rated show that we have, now I don't know. We're going to have to call in like a third party. The third party's going to have to decide.
Third party.
We need to have a big crown though, so we can all share.
Might have to do a recount.
Oh.
To all of our heads.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll go with that.
Like a
one.
participation trophy?
Well, I was thinking that, but I wasn't going to go there. Well,
Got a baseball ring before.
Oh yeah.
All right.
well, also, it takes a team sometimes to win a game.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And I got a trophy from soccer.
And Dad gave you one of his trophies from soccer like a long time ago. Like from like the
You're too short to play soccer, Dad. What do you mean?
I'm not sure people play soccer. I was even shorter then.
I used to play soccer when I was in preschool, but then I hated it, so
Really?
I stopped.
And
Yeah.
see, Mackenzie, my big girl, she loves soccer.
Like I could play soccer. It's just that I did not like it in preschool because
I hate soccer.
my team used to take the ball from me and they were mean to me, so I just
Okay.
stopped playing soccer.
I hate soccer also.
I used to play soccer.
Well, you're a baseball player now, right?
Yeah, I love baseball.
All right.
I'm gonna do it.
Now, my little girl, she wants to get back into soccer this year, so we're going to go ahead and see how that works out.
I don't know if that's gonna be a good idea.
You don't think so? My girl's a
I
good at
think
soccer.
so. I think so. He's just saying that
Why would it be a good idea?
because he doesn't like soccer.
Well, you don't like soccer because you're lazy.
That's a lot of running.
You don't want to run.
Lazy boy from St. Peter.
And he
Yeah, what's it? Please so vile, man. I'm teaching that.
It's gonna go live.
No,
It's
no,
not
it's
good.
not.
What do you think you did from a construction worker, bro? I mean, I'm just saying, you know?
speaking of work, you smell like work.
Yeah, you always
'Cause I work all the time.
work every day.
I know. Well, then how about you guys get?
Finish your building soon.
Yeah, and I'll start another one after that. Well, I'd rather. How about you guys get a job and I get to stay home?
See that? And now we're talking.
Yeah.
There's labor laws against
I
that,
can't
though.
do that either. I'm too young. Even though I'm turning an old lady, I'm still young.
I'm 6 going on to 60.
Yeah, that's what Mom says.
It kind of is though, actually.
I'm
Stuff
turning.
makes sense sometimes. I'm like, where did you learn that from?
They grow up so fast.
He hit me on this, Dad. How do you have the audacity to say that to him? I said, what?
He didn't say it. He said, "Dad, how dare you have the audacity to do that to me? And you are harassing me."
Oh, wait till you see Starlet tomorrow, man. You're gonna hear the things that come out of her mouth. She's gonna have you cracking up.
Yeah, and all they did was tell him to put his Legos away.
The audacity to tell me that.
He said, Dad, you're harassing me by asking me that.
You're harassing me.
Well, Pete, again, I can't wait till your kids come on. They're going to have fun with this, and all the listeners out there, and anyone that's listening and still didn't turn it off yet, then that's awesome because this is what it's about, man. Family is what it's about, and that's how.
You have to remember what we're doing it for.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and you can't get away from that because, like I said, it's all about the future, right? Our children, the future, but if your eyes are set too far in the future and you're missing what's right in front of you, you know, I mean, that's the danger as well, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I look at people that don't have kids or older and they say they don't want kids and they're trying to do all this stuff, you know, and it's all about
They bought the propaganda.
Yeah. And then I just look at it and I'm like, you know, I can't tell them what to do, but it's just, I feel like when they're like laying there on their deathbed and they're going to go back and be like, well, what did I really accomplish? You can die with, you know, $1 billion and then not have something like this. It's so precious to help create life is amazing.
To help mold life, right? To see them turn into adults. That's like,
yeah.
I mean, you don't want to miss the ride, right? You know what I mean? You got it. But the outcomes, like, I'm excited, bro.
Yeah.
I am very excited.
Yeah. No, so, I mean, I you know, when you're single and you're by yourself, you know, and then even I got married. Well, we were married 5 years before we had kids, but it was still like about you. And as soon as we had Gianna, you know, like everything changed. You know, and I say this all the time.
It was so funny when, speaking of having kids, it was so funny when he said that when I was first born, he was driving so slow.
That's what you do. You don't know. You're new.
And then the second baby, which was Damon, when he was born, he was going so fast. He was like,
and I see you rattled his brain. That's what happened.
Well, you don't know. You're a new parent. So I'm going over little speed humps in the parking lot. I'm leaving with her. I'm like, oh, she okay? I just go over that too. And then after having her, dude, she's older than him. I'm like, oh, they're adorable. Him, I'm like, we're just going over there. Speed humps. He's bouncing around.
The ninner falls on the ground, you know, you got to reboil it again, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The second one, you wipe it off and pop it back in.
Yeah,
you'll be fine.
Yeah, get a little color, rub some dirt on it.
Rub some dirt on it. I love that one.
So, oh man, this is a good time. And
you know, listen, no one will ever. You think your dog greeting you at home when you get home is like the best thing ever, right? You'll never know what children are like unless you have them.
yeah,
Because that is by far the greatest joy when you get home and they're running up, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. Oh, it's amazing.
yeah, no, I know, and that's why of course, they wanted to come in with me, and his birthday's tomorrow, and then it's American's birthday tomorrow. I'm like, it's a good time. I said, you know what? It's time to let's just change the show up for a little bit, not have to go straight politics. And just talk about how nice it is to have a family and bring kids, you know, and just whatever. Just change it up a little bit, you know. That's all.
Absolutely.
I mean, I did the last segment of the podcast is like too. I was like, I mean, instead of like a segment that's strictly politics, I was kind of cliche. You hear it all the time, but I said, you know what? I want to ask everybody if you were going to have dinner with somebody.
I heard. Yeah.
Who would it be? You know, and I knew it would go like there was going to be some jokes here and there because I thought it'd be funny, and then there was some serious stuff
I
happening.
heard that too.
You know, and it actually, you know, Buddy Seth podcast, great podcaster from Conservative Corner. He's on the America's Pulse Network as well. It just hit him. He's like, he said his mother, you know, who passed, and he's an older guy, you know, one of the toughest guys I know, and he just broke down, you know, and it showed that emotion. And I didn't expect it to happen, but it was good. And he felt good about it, and it made him think about his mom again, you know. So, because that's the thing, you know, sometimes you might forget, and it's not bad to show emotion. And then we had some jokes, you know, like other people that said he wanted to have dinner with, and we were
Right, yeah. Somebody said Dahmer.
Yeah. Tim said Jeffrey Dahmer. I said, oh, here we go. Here we go with this one.
Hannibal. You know what I mean?
He's like, because I think he's just so I just want to know, like, ask how it tasted. No, because I can
We're
never.
gonna have you for dinner. Is that okay?
No.
But all right. Well, Norm's giving us the signal, so it looks like we're wrapping. Yeah, we're wrapping up.
We're gonna have a snack break.
Well, we can't have a break when we're ending the show.
Well,
But I will take one when we're done. So,
Wait, it's not
but before we end the show, we gotta say the website.
VoteJackandPete.com. VoteJackandPete.com. Please come send us some donations. You know, I mean, it really matters. That's VoteJackandPete.com. It's really, we're trying to do the best we can. We need a little help. You know, if you guys want to take part in changing New Jersey red, you don't want to get involved, at least please come donate, and that'll keep us going a little bit more so we can get some more signs and literature and things like that. It's really comes down to you guys trying to help us out. That's how we can make this possible.
Yeah, and as always, follow the great America's Pulse Network and Jersey Shore podcast as well, as long as the Jersey Shore radio show now. And with the America's Pulse Network, we have a great podcast is Alexandra Levine Live. We have Seth Eisenberg, Conservative Corner. We have Elena Barbera comes on the guest with the Base Mother, Tim Fazenmaker. Great show. And, and I think Alexander's doing a pretty good job with the White House press passes. Getting good footage on there, asking some great questions. That's awesome. But here, before we go, we got like 30 seconds. I want to do a test run real quick. Hey, buddy, do you want Uncle Pete to get elected?
Yeah.
Okay, now.
I do too.
Now, Bammy and Pop just sent you money for your birthday because you said you'd rather buy something for yourself than just gave you money. Now, will you donate that $100 towards Pete's campaign to get him elected?
I would, but
The butt's coming.
But that's my money and I need it now.
I'm sorry, I can't because I need to spend it on.
How about $5? Can you do $5?
Yes, we can.
Listen,
I can do $1.
Listen, I will tell you, if we had 10,000 people donate $5, that's 50 grand. That would be more than enough to win the whole campaign.
Yep. So, all right, everybody. All right, hurry up. We got like 10 seconds, guys. So,
What? It's not to me. It's like an album.
all right. Well, next time, buddy.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Enjoy the holiday weekend. Happy 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. And
Listen, don't blow off your fingers.
yeah, that's right.
Enjoy your 4th of July.
And
Happy birthday to
All
you.
right, wrap it up. All right, guys.
Bye.
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 Good job, guys.
No more tears, just righteous pride. In this one big voice, it's our time. Generation fighters take the stand. From shore to shore, we reclaim the land. Grit and glory in every strand. In Jersey Shore, we make our stand.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.